Whether in a studio, outside, in the fresh air, or in a group with other creators, artists find different ways of interpreting and expressing what it means to work. On this episode of The Arts Page, we bring you to Milwaukee's Groman Museum for a personal tour of their Artists at Work exhibition, and you'll get to know some of the local artists involved in the project. Visit the Wisconsin landmark 10 Chimneys and take a seat inside a master class taught by award-winning actor David Hyde Pierce. And see the creativity that has come from collaborations of artists and industrial specialists over the past 40 years as part of the Arts Industry program in Kohler. That's all coming up now on The Arts Page.
The Arts Page is made possible by the Helen Daniels Bader Fund, a Bader philanthropy. Honoring Helen Daniels Bader's passion for the arts and creativity, the fund brings community arts to underserved audiences and is a proud supporter of local arts programming on Milwaukee PBS.
Welcome to The Arts Page. I'm your host, Sandy Maxx. We are on location at the Groman Museum on the campus of the Milwaukee School of Engineering downtown. What's unique about this museum is that it specializes in artwork inspired by the idea of man at work. When you browse the Groman Museum's collection, you'll see the history of industrial technology expressed through various forms of art, and also the importance of art to showcase human innovation. Artists at Work is the current exhibition at the Groman Museum. The Cedarburg Artists Guild collaborated on this project to create artworks based on the theme of human industry. Come with us now as we see their interpretations of the definition of work and get to know more about this creative space that is part of the Milwaukee School of Engineering.
We like to say science without art is nothing. Not so much to provide culture, but just to provide a broader view of art. The Groman Museum, it was the product of a gift to the Milwaukee School of Engineering of an art collection by Dr. Eckhart Groman. The collection all dealt with the art of industry. Dr. Groman was an aluminum founder. He ran a foundry on the south side of Milwaukee. That's why he had a kind of an affinity to collecting art and depictions of labor, depictions of industry. That's where the collection began. We're absolutely unique in that the collection all deals with human industry. It's the art of industry, the art of labor, the art of human achievement. The way the collection's organized in the museum is broken out thematically. On the first floor we have iron and steel production and all things related to the heavy industry. On the second floor we have construction and agriculture, so the more rural motifs and those sorts of themes. And on the third floor it's craftsmen and intellectual trades, so that's a little more of a catch-all and includes some of the oldest pieces in the collection. There's a number of site-specific artworks included in the building design. They include the mosaic floor on which you enter. You look directly up and you see our ceiling mural. The rooftop sculpture garden, it's a green roof that includes 18 sculptures that were all reproduced. They're site-specific pieces based on pieces in the permanent collection, so they were reproduced in life size and larger than life size for our rooftop garden. Dr. Groman's intention in giving the collection to the School of Engineering was he thought that students of engineering and these very technical students should be confronted with art on a daily basis. We host a number of feature exhibitions every year. The current exhibition, Artists at Work, is a wonderful collaboration that we put together with the Cedarburg Artists Guild. A great opportunity to showcase local talent. This exhibition came about as a result of a conversation I had with Susan Steinhoffel. Susan is the director of the Cedarburg Artists Guild. So we discussed our theme, that is the theme of industry, the theme of work, and kind of presented it as a challenge to the Guild to create new pieces surrounding this theme of industry, this theme of human productivity. And they readily accepted that challenge. There are 42 works by 14 featured artists. The collection is laid out by artists, actually. We have them arranged on the wall with their pieces as companion pieces to one another. But we also laid it out thematically, so we looked for natural connections between the artist's work. We have paintings, of course. We have works on paper, including prints and photographs. and a wide variety in interpreting the theme of industry. Some of the artists go at it straight and just document industry in a snapshot in more of a straightforward approach. Others go at it a little differently, think about the philosophy, the psychology behind work, what work means to us, what work means to culture. A little bit about Paul Yank's work. Paul is, he's very revered by the Cedarburg Artists Guild. They all very much look up to him because he is a master printmaker. And so a lot of the printmakers that are included in the exhibition have taken their learning and their tutelage from Paul.
And you've got it on here. We work with transparent inks. We leave the textures that are behind come through. We don't want to lose all the things in it. It's monoprint slash pourquoi. It means stencil. And that way we can lay color over color. And with the transparencies, you can get some really beautiful tones that you couldn't get otherwise.
Paul deals in Native American and Pan-Indian kind of motifs, very much a cultural perspective on his work.
It's a Southwest pottery maker and a Mexican basket weaver and a metalsmith, a silversmith. And the other one is all the workers, the real workers, which is the women. It's Indian, all Indian pieces. They're all tied together as Indian pieces. And I fell in love with cultural anthropology, why man does things, you know. What the Native American was doing as a manufacturer, you know, I mean, they were doing these things themselves, and there's a way of living, a way of working.
Michael Santini styles himself a modern medievalist and also paints in a more of a surrealist vein. And Michael's work is very, very detailed, very nuanced, a lot of iconography, a lot of symbolism.
I love repetition and I love symmetry. So there's a lot of reoccurring things that happen in one painting that'll transfer and move over into another painting. Because I want my pieces to be somewhat cerebral, I want them to make a statement, to challenge people to think, and maybe even to make decisions. I would pick the different symbols that I wanted to represent the different elements in that painting, and then try and bring all the elements out to the people that are looking at the piece so they could kind of interact. And then when I would design the border, I would lay out the border, then I would take these individual drawings of these elements and I would start manipulating them around the paper to try and get the strongest design. As time moves on and the paint gets a little more transparent, then the undertones come through and give it a lot more form.
The iconography, the subject matter, often quite wild, and it's inspired by his own spirituality. And so we see a lot of biblical motifs and messages in his work, as well as a great deal of symbolism.
Through working in industry and working alongside somebody else and getting to know them, getting to respect them, I thought this would be kind of apropos of what's going on today.
We included a number of Milwaukee artists in the exhibition. The suite by Shelby Keefe of the Marquette Interchange, of the new Milwaukee Bucks Stadium project or arena project. A couple great paintings by Hal Koenig of local industry, the swing bridge down in the 3rd Ward, some of the other icons that we think of when we think of local industry. And they just added a new dimension and another dimension, a new element to the exhibition, and complemented quite well that art that the Cedarburg group had produced. This particular collection of artists at work, I think, shows a great variety and a great diversity in interpreting that theme of the art of industry, but it also showcases some great local talent.
You can explore the Artists at Work exhibition on the second floor of the Groman Museum through August 20th of 2017. Plan your visit and learn more about the exhibition online at the Groman Museum's website, msoe.edu/museum. This particular painting of a man lost in thought in a good book may seem familiar to you. Norman Rockwell took inspiration from a German painter named Karl Spitzweg, and this is his tribute to Spitzweg's painting, also titled The Bookworm. Here at the Groman Museum, you can also see Spitzweg's original. You may have also seen Spitzweg's original painting on display in the Milwaukee Public Library's Rare Books room, where it hung for decades. It's now on permanent loan here at the Groman. The idea of Artists at Work can also include actors. 10 Chimneys in scenic Genesee Depot was the country estate of Broadway legends Alfred, Lunt, and Lynn Fontanne. Since 2009, 10 Chimneys has held special master classes where accomplished actors learn from master teachers. Take a look at what it's like to have Tony and Emmy Award-winning actor David Hyde Pierce as your teacher.
It's a gathering of masters, both master teachers and master artists. And in this atmosphere at 10 Chimneys, it's joyful because we are also honoring the gifts that the Lunts gave to the theatrical community and American theater history.
10 Chimneys is the estate of Alfred Lunt and Lynn Fontanne, who were the premier stage actors from the 20s to the 60s. We're here to help further American theater, and that's in many ways through education, through training, through development, and through legacy building. The Lynn Fontanne Fellowship Program is the preeminent fellowship program for actors to have a minimum of 20 years of acting experience. We find that at that stage, that's when the rejuvenation may be necessary. At 20 years, you're mentoring others just naturally, but this is where the mentors come to be mentored. We have 10 fellows from all around the country, all among the best in their craft. They are energized, committed, passionate, lovers of the theater. You can see why they are the best at what they do.
The Lunt Fontanne estate is a treasure. It's a jewel, and Wisconsin has it. And to be able to access this resource and not only have Milwaukee theater honored, but the Lunt Fontanne estate and their legacy, to have that honored as well is just really, really exciting. This is such an amazing group of people who have spent their lives continually showing up, continually pushing the boundaries, continually redefining excellence and vulnerability, which is really a fascinating quality in all of these people, that as professional and as trained and disciplined as they all are, they're all enormously vulnerable. And that's an exciting thing for both other performers and for audiences.
The masterclass teacher really has to be someone that is respected by the acting community. So you couldn't have someone that may have had a great role, but only have a few years of experience. So typically the masterclass teacher has been in the business for 30 plus years. But in addition to that, have a commitment to American theater.
I'm here for a week to run a master class with 10 wonderful actors from around the country. And we're here to sort of rejuvenate ourselves and rediscover why we're doing what we're doing. These are people who have, like myself, reached a point in life where they've done a lot and accomplished a lot, and we are all sort of collectively looking back and looking forward at our careers and at our work. My job in the class is, I think, to just facilitate that and use whatever experience I have to shed any insights I may have on their careers and their work. My deal this week was, I thought, since we're at 10 Chimneys, that we should work on things that in some way are connected to the Lunts. So I thought, what if we used that guest list as our template and said, let's look at anything written by or performed in people who were friends of the Lunts and came to 10 Chimneys. So I call it Chimney Pieces. You could also call it 6 Degrees of 10 Chimneys. So part of this week is getting to know each other and getting to see what parts fit well and what scenes work best. And I think the general idea will be we'll use the first part of the week to just play and explore as much as we can. And then as it gets towards the end of the week, we'll start narrowing down our choices to scenes that we can maybe dig deeper into for the rest of the time here.
He is so amazingly generous and gentle, and yet just a fascinating scholarly mind that he's able to look at the shape of the scene and say, think about this one moment or think about this one phrase, and allow that to help you get to the truth of this situation. And that kind of an eye is really very rare, and that kind of gentleness and respect as a director is also extremely rare. So it's really fun to be in the room with someone who has not only that kind of intelligence, but that kind of gentle approach.
David is a very warm person, he's just very natural in terms of his connections with people. So he has offered them not only the wisdom that he has, but he has also provided them with some good guidance and support and sharing of experiences.
I started out in the theater doing Broadway and off-Broadway. I was doing Shakespeare in the Park. I was doing new plays. I did a lot of work in regional theater. Probably the formative years of my acting were spent in regional theater, at the Guthrie, at the Goodman, at the Long Wharf, places like that. And then I've gone away and done television. And probably most importantly, I came back. And ever since Frasier ended, I've been doing theater, because that was my first love, and that is what I find most fulfilling. So that's a kind of a broad range of experience that may give me some perspectives on things that are useful. But above all, I think it's that belief in love of and commitment to the theater.
One of the things that's happened in the conversations that the fellows have been having is that we've all discovered that no matter what checklist there is about whether you're good at this or whether you should pursue this, those of us who are here just keep showing up. That we refuse to take no for an answer, that we refuse to let someone else define beauty or talent or success, that we just keep saying, I'm going to keep showing up. And that's right now what I'm taking away from this is keep showing up, keep bringing your best game, keep bringing your best generosity, keep bringing your best intelligence, and good things will happen.
The essence of a program like this is being willing at a later stage in your career and in your life to take a chance, to open yourself up to possibilities, so that at a time in life where it's very easy to start shutting down and start narrowing your choices and feeling like you have to protect, be able to embrace uncertainty, because this place is full of those things and full of magic. I hope that they leave here inspired. I hope that they have made discoveries about themselves or about their technique. And I've hoped they've been exposed to a world of the theater that they maybe never knew or had lost touch with, because some of these plays don't get done so much anymore. I hope they leave full of lunts.
David Hyde Pierce joined an esteemed list of past master teachers at 10 Chimneys, including Alan Alda, Olympia Dukakis, Joel Gray, and Felicia Rashad. Get insights into the actors' time with their master teachers through online journals filled with photos and stories from each year, and learn more about the Lunt Fontanne Fellowship on the website 10chimneys.org. Industrial work can be beautifully coupled with art, like we see here in this series of paintings of the Kohler Company's cast iron division and brass departments, created in the early 2000s by painter Hans-Dieter Tille. Since 1979, the Arts Industry Residency Program at Kohler Company gives visual artists from around the world unprecedented access to share studio space with their factory's industrial workers. The John Michael Kohler Art Center in Sheboygan recently showcased their first retrospective of this wide variety of unique artwork and some of the creativity that has come from these collaborations.
We want to give people ways of getting together, of seeing the power of art, the delight of art. It's happened. This exhibit goes back many, many years. And in 1973, we wanted to do an exhibition of contemporary work in clay. And so we went to Kohler Company, because Kohler Company was celebrating its centennial that year. And we thought, what better way to celebrate the centennial than to use one of the major materials that they used. And so we curated it, brought work from all over the country. There were 87 artists in the exhibition with over 300 pieces, and people loved it, but most of all the artists loved it because they had not been able to see such a large exhibition on contemporary work in clay. More than anything that we could do for artists, we felt, was to open up the factory for them to use, for them to gain new knowledge, to experiment, to create whole new bodies of work. It's called Arts Industry, Collaboration and Revelation, and it's all about what was made there, but perhaps equally important, that experience that the associates and the artists experienced. And I think you feel that as you go through and you begin to understand what was really happening through those years and how it changed through time, how the work became more and more sophisticated, less about the plumbing and more about a broad range of issues and ideas. One of the pieces that is a must-see is a toilet that is actually in the shape of the factory. One of my favorite works by Jack Earl, called Saturday Night in Ohio, and it is two guys taking a break and playing cards at a table. And the table actually, the top can come off and it becomes a soup tureen. So it's an industry item that's been turned into art and then in turn has become a different functional object. The work of Jim Neal, it's a piece about war and was inspired by the Chinese warriors that in clay that were dug up. These are not human warriors, they are chimpanzees. And they wear various kinds of armor. And there are 50 of them who face you straight on. And you can't help but be overwhelmed by the power of them. Michael Sherrill is an extraordinary artist, and his work, usually metal and clay, but it's very delicate floral pieces, and they are stunning. Sean Bussey created a work that is quite beautiful. The violins themselves are clay, and it's glazed, a beautiful white, and the cases that surround each violin is of iron. So it's this white against black, and just that makes it very beautiful, very evocative. The first work in the factory that incorporated both clay and iron was the work of an artist named Ron Fontanne, and he used the iron to create a base for the piece. One end rests on the floor and the other end rests on a cone of clay. The color, the yellows, the blues, against the white and the black are really stunning. Sarah Peters was a very young woman. She had a lot of spunk. The series of wigs that she made were especially beautiful. And today I try to go past them just because I love them so much. I would like to see our audiences see the power of what people working together can do, the power of collaboration, the strength of an idea, the persistence that it takes to make it succeed. What amazing things people can do when they work together.
You can learn more about the Arts Industry Residency Program and see the collection online at the website tinyurl.com/artsindustryprogram. For more art stories, visit the Milwaukee PBS website at milwaukeepbs.org and click on the Arts page, or check out the Arts page on Facebook. It's been a pleasure to bring you inside another Milwaukee museum and show you around. Special thanks to the staff here at the Groman Museum on the campus of Milwaukee School of Engineering for their hospitality and for sharing their art with our city. If you want to learn more about the Groman Museum, go to the website msoe.edu/museum. I'm Sandy Maxx. Thank you so much for watching, and please join us next time on The Arts Page.
Funding for the Arts Page is made possible by the Helen Daniels Bader Fund, a Bader philanthropy. Committed to bringing the creative arts to underserved audiences, the Helen Daniels Bader Fund encourages collaboration and innovation that strengthens our community to make our world a better place to live.